Around 55, 60 Chinese military fighter jets, present in Tier 1 airfields in Tibet. New Delhi says there are still between 55, 60 Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, fighter aircraft in the Tier 1 airfields in Tibet. But the top-of-the-line J-20 remains in the Tier 2 airfields like Chengdu and Golmud, which are further away from the line of actual control, separating India and China. So the J-20 remains a threat, but for the moment, a distant threat. Is China planning to violate the LAC again? Before we dive in details, please subscribe to the channel and stay always one step ahead to know all global important events happening around you. Give a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Let's move on with the video. The J-20 is easily the best Chinese fighter aircraft. It is a stealth fighter, barely 5 years in service, and is considered close to being 5th generation. The Indian Air Force has, of course, the French Rafale, and 36 of them. Currently, the Chinese, who have designed and developed it around 2016, have over 200 of them, and about 20 of them are in the Tier 2 airfields, not in the Tier 1 ones like Lhasa or Hoping and Hotan. Nevertheless, there are about half a dozen J-20S in Milan, in Xinjiang, and Korla, also in the same area. There are 8 in Golmud, in Qinghai, which is north of the Tibetan Autonomous Area, and 3 or 4 in Chengdu, who is towards the Arunachal Pradesh area. Some of the others may be in areas in the east, keeping up the pressure on Taiwan. There are still about 55, 60 fighter aircraft in the Tier 1 airfields, a considerable number, but they are the J-10, the J-11, the J-7, and the JH-7A. The J-10 is a multi-role fighter, about 20 years old. There are about 5 in the area. There are about 30 J-11S, which are also about 2 decades old and similar to the Russian Sukhoi 27. It is an air superiority fighter. The Russian-designed Sukhoi 30 MKI has a 2-member crew and considerable Indian inputs. The Chinese also have about a dozen J-7, which is a fighter from the 1960s, derived from the Soviet-designed MiG-21, and a similar number of JH-7A, an independently designed fighter bomber. A recent war between India and China was a result of a long-standing border dispute, with both countries asserting their claims over the Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh regions. This territorial disagreement escalated into a military conflict, with China launching a surprise attack on India in October 1962. The major events of the war were short yet intense, with Chinese troops advancing into Indian territory in 2 major sectors, Ladakh and across the McMahon Line in the eastern sector. Despite India's valiant efforts, China's superior military strength prevailed, and they managed to capture significant territories. The aftermath of the war was a period of reflection and rebuilding for India. The defeat led to a comprehensive overhaul of India's defense and foreign policies. For China, the war ended with a unilateral ceasefire and a withdrawal to pre-war positions, effectively maintaining the status quo. However, it retained control of Aksai Chin, a region it considers strategically vital. The impact of this war on the India-China relationship was profound. It transformed a border dispute into a deep-seated mistrust and rivalry. The war left a lasting impression on the collective memory of both nations, influencing their approach to border negotiations and defense strategies. The 1962 war left a lasting scar on India-China relations, setting the stage for the ongoing border dispute. It serves as a grim reminder of the complexities involved in the India-China relationship and the importance of peaceful resolution of disputes between these 2 nations. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the border dispute is far from resolved. The tension has been building up, particularly in the last decade, with several skirmishes and standoffs along the disputed border. One of the most notable incidents occurred in 2020, a year that would go down in history as one of the most tumultuous in recent memory. In the summer of 2020, a clash erupted between Indian and Chinese soldiers in the Galwan Valley, a disputed area along the line of actual control. It was a deadly encounter, resulting in the loss of at least 20 Indian soldiers and 4 Chinese soldiers, marking the most severe escalation in tensions for several decades. This incident sparked outrage in India, particularly when images emerged showing a Chinese commander involved in the skirmish, Chief Abao, being honored as an Olympic torchbearer. This move was seen as a slap in the face by many in India, leading to a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics in Beijing. The fallout from these clashes has been significant, casting a long shadow over India-China relations. India responded with several measures aimed at hitting China where it hurts, economically. Chinese apps were banned, and Chinese telecom giants were blocked, signaling a hardening of India's stance towards its powerful neighbor. The tensions have also spilled over into diplomatic arenas. China boycotted a G20 meeting hosted by India in disputed territory, a move that was seen as a significant escalation in the ongoing dispute. The diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympics further reduced the number of foreign leaders expected to attend the Games, marking Chinese leader Xi Jinping's first time welcoming counterparts in over a year. Despite these tensions, both countries have expressed a desire to de-escalate the situation. During a rare meeting at the BRICS Economic Group meeting in Johannesburg, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese leader Xi Jinping agreed to intensify efforts to resolve the border issue. However, the road to peace is long and fraught with challenges. These recent incidents have only served to exacerbate the dispute and further strain India-China relations. The border dispute is not just about a line on a map. It's about national pride, strategic interests, and the future trajectory of two of the world's most populous nations. As we move forward, the resolution of this dispute will undoubtedly shape the geopolitical landscape of the region and beyond. Despite the ongoing tensions, both nations have made attempts to resolve the border dispute diplomatically. The diplomatic chessboard has seen numerous moves, some of the most significant being the meetings between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. These meetings, often taking place in the margins of international summits, have been aimed at diffusing the tension and finding a common ground. One such meeting took place at the BRICS Economic Group meeting in Johannesburg, where the two leaders discussed ways to de-escalate the simmering tensions at their contentious border. The emphasis was on maintaining peace and respecting the line of actual control, which is a crucial prerequisite for normalizing relations. But diplomatic progress is often slow and painstaking. The stakes are high in this dispute, and the world watches with bated breath. The future implications if the dispute remains unresolved are manifold and far-reaching. An unresolved border dispute not only threatens the bilateral relations of these two Asian giants, but also has significant geopolitical implications. The strained relations between India and China have led to a strengthening of ties between India and the United States through the Quad, a strategic forum that includes the US, India, Japan, and Australia. China's assertiveness has been met with a collective pushback from these democracies. On the other hand, China has been boycotting international meetings hosted by India, further straining their relationship. In the realm of economics, the tension has led to India taking measures such as banning Chinese apps and blocking Chinese telecom giants. This economic decoupling could lead to a significant shift in the global supply chain, impacting economies worldwide. And then there's the human element. The people living along the disputed border areas live in a state of constant uncertainty and fear. Their lives and livelihoods are directly affected by this dispute, and any escalation can lead to a humanitarian crisis. The future of the India-China border dispute remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. Its resolution will be crucial for the peace and stability of the region. The world watches, hopes, and waits for diplomacy to navigate these troubled waters towards a peaceful resolution. So, what have we learned about the India-China border dispute? We've delved into the establishment of the line of actual control, a contentious boundary that has been the source of tension for decades. We've revisited the War of 1962, a conflict that left deep scars and unresolved issues between the two nations. We also examined recent skirmishes, notably the deadly clash in 2020, which saw India and China locking horns in the most severe conflict since the war. These incidents have heightened the tensions, leading to diplomatic boycotts and strained relations on the global stage. In terms of diplomatic efforts, we've seen attempts from both sides to de-escalate the situation. These include high-level meetings between leaders and diplomatic dialogues aimed at maintaining peace and respecting the contentious boundary. As for the future implications, the dispute over the LAC continues to pose a significant concern for India's security. The region is not only a hotbed for military confrontations, but also a flashpoint affecting diplomatic relations, economic ties, and regional stability. As we continue to watch this dispute unfold, it's important to remember that behind the political posturing and military clashes are two nations striving for security, sovereignty, and peace.